This is Talk of the Town, a weekly program featuring community events happening in and around Northeast Michigan, with your host, Nancy Smitham, and the latest news from Alpena Community College with Dr. Olin Joynton. And now, today's Talk of the Town.
Good morning and welcome to Talk of the Town. I'm Nancy Smitham. My first guest today is Christine Wedge from Alpena County Library. Hi, Christine.
Good morning, Nancy. How are you?
Happy spring. I'm wonderful, thank you. And we have so much, so we need to get started right away.
We do have things already going on at the library. On Tuesday, we have a presentation by a woman named Teresa Irish, and she wrote a book called 1,000 Letters Home, which is actually, when I say she wrote it, she sort of compiled it because her dad died in 2006. He'd been a soldier in Germany during World War II, and she discovered 1,000 letters that he had written. Now, he'd written to his parents, to the woman who later became his mother, although at that time she was his girlfriend, and to the parents of the boys who had served alongside him, and some of them had fallen in battle.
Wow.
And she found all these letters, and she thought, this is a story that needs telling again. And we don't want to forget about the things that happened to those boys. And so she put all the letters into a book, and she's making a little tour of the area, and she'll be at the library on Tuesday night at 6:30. And I think it'll be a really neat presentation because the library recently received a collection of letters from Eldon Heron's family, which were a similar situation. All the letters he had written home that they had kept. So we have a similar collection in the Alpena History Room, and I think there are probably some folks out there who maybe have a collection like that in their house.
Oh, yes, and I just get goosebumps when I think about 1,000 letters that he wrote home.
It's
and
really,
they saved them. That's wonderful.
It really is a wonderful history of what happened to him and to his family. So, yeah.
Then every Thursday in April is Tiny Tots.
That's right, and that's for 0 to 24-month-olds, so just the little ones. You know, there's some songs and some stories, but it's mostly a chance for the babies to kind of socialize, play with some toys they might not have at home, and it's a great opportunity for new parents to meet other young families in the community.
Oh, very
and that's
good.
from 10 to 11 on Thursdays, and you don't have to register. You can just come, and if mom and dad are both busy, then whoever's caring for the baby during the day can bring them as well.
And then Baby Farm Animal Day.
Well, this is the big highlight of the spring season at the library. We will bring a whole bunch of baby animals into the first floor children's area where all the kids' books are, and you can hold the duckies, and you can hold the little bunnies, and you can hold the chicks. Now, I haven't heard for sure, but we usually do wind up with 1 or 2 bigger animals like piglets or lambs or a calf or something like that. I'm not sure who's been born this year and ready to come. But that program's completely free. It's from 11 to 2. It's open to the public. And Walgreens will be there again this year, and they will take a photo of your child, and then you can pick it up. They'll develop it for you, and you can pick it up for free at Walgreens.
Oh, perfect. And we want to let people know you're up close and personal with all these baby animals.
Oh, you really are. The little tiny ones you can hold in your hand, and the bigger ones are just in a real open fencing, and you can just reach in and pet them. We have kids who just sit. The look on their faces when especially kids who don't really see animals on a regular basis, are just astonished.
And make sure you come because it's really hard to find a parking spot because it's so filled. So make sure you get there.
Yeah, come early. Yep, it's at 11 o'clock.
Okay, and then Books and Brown Bag is kicking off.
Right, Books and Brown Bags actually runs all of April, so the first one was last week, but the theme for this month is memoirs. So at first you think, well, I don't know, like what kind of memoirs? And then it's surprising when you start to think of all the books you've read, how many of them actually do fit as memoirs. On the 9th, we'll review Michigan Humanities Council's pick for the Great Michigan Read for this year, which is a book called Annie's Ghost. It's written by a man named Steve Luxenberg, who grew up in the Detroit area and now writes for the Washington Post. And when his mom died, he noticed that there weren't very many pictures of her as a child. And he did a little bit of digging and found out that his mom had had a sister all along. His entire life he thought she was an only child. And the sister had been institutionalized, and the family didn't talk much about it. So he kind of pieces together the pieces of that story. And along the way, he explores some institutions in Detroit and his old stomping grounds as a kid. And it's really a nice, interesting story about taking one thread that you might find, like even on Ancestry.com, and kind of following it all the way back.
And that's Tuesday, April 9th, and it's at noon.
It's at 6:30.
Oh, it's at 6:30.
Tuesday, April 9th at noon, at 6:30. Yep, sorry, 6:30 at night. Yep.
Okay, then the next one is 16th.
The 16th, that's Joe Basta will be there talking about The Wink of the Zenith, which is a book by a writer sort of about how he became a writer. It sounds really interesting. I've never heard of it before. That is at noon. Joe, as you know, is a professor at ACC. And then on the 23rd, we have Paige Edwards. She works at the Blue Phoenix bookstore.
Okay.
And she'll review the story A Long Way Gone, which is about boy soldiers.
Okay.
And so I'm sure that that's a little heart-wrenching. I've not read that book myself, but I'm sure it's a sad story. You know what? You're right. Actually, all three of those programs are at noon. I missed. I thought that we were talking about the Lest We Forget one.
Okay. All right, Cooking with Eric.
Cooking with Eric. We're always happy to have the Fresh Palette Gourmet right on hand on the premises. I think I've mentioned to you before that now we have, we're taping it live so we can show it on big movie screens in the room so that people who don't have a front row seat can still see what Eric's doing, how he's mixing up. And I think that this time he's going to do Thai vegetarian.
Perfect.
So that'll be really nice and light for spring and kind of a flavor people might not have had a chance to explore or be a little bit nervous about trying, and he'll give you some easy recipes. And the great thing is,
samples. You
get to try it, so you know before you even go buy those ingredients whether you like it.
Okay. And last but certainly not least, it's the 50-year anniversary of Where the Wild Things Are. Unbelievable.
I know. Isn't that funny? So Maurice Sendak wrote that, Where the Wild Things Are, and it's been in print for 50 years. So we know the movie just came out a couple years ago, but now that we're at 50-year anniversary for the book, we'll just have a party. We will let the wild rumpus start, is what he says in the book. So that program runs from 10 to noon on Saturday, April 27th. And it's for preschool through 5th grade. And crafts, games, snacks,
whatever.
A little celebration.
It'll always be wonderful.
Yeah.
And we have run through everything very quickly, so the phone number is 356-6188 if anyone needs more information about any of these.
Absolutely.
And I really hope that they come to the Books and Brown Bags or to the on Tuesday, April 9th, Lest We Forget. That sounds
that will really be
so wonderful.
That'll be a really neat program, I think.
Okay, and then your website is
www.alpinalibrary.com.
All right, thank you so much for being here today.
Thanks, Nancy.
I'll be right back following these messages. Hi, and welcome back. My last guest today is Clint Boland. He is here from the Children's Advocacy Center. Hi, Clint.
Hi, good to see you.
Good to have you here. And the Children's Advocacy Center came about because of the Children's Advocacy Initiative. So why don't you start our audience out and tell them about the initiative and how it got started.
I would love to. It started based on the Kellogg Foundation issuing a challenge to Northeast Michigan human and health providers to work together to identify the biggest need that children have in this region. And as you know, the Kellogg Foundation is very centered on children and meeting children's needs broadly. And that was in 2009, so we took about a year and a half. We were pretty deliberate and slow, but we thought it out. And we identified children's behavioral health as the greatest need, and that, talking about broad, that in itself is a broad spectrum. So we came up with 4 major components for our initiative, our proposal. The first is what's called system of care, and that's really comes out of the mental health community, where agencies agree to work together using similar principles, guiding principles, and we seek to lock arms and create a seamless system for serving children. The second piece is a parenting initiative, and we have 2 that we have recently implemented and are operating in the 4 counties around Alpena, or 3 counties around Alpena and Alpena County. And that is a reboot of Day One. And that was a in-home intervention where once a week a family worker meets with a family and helps them develop their parenting skills and improve the health of not only the family members but the home life as well. And that can last anywhere from 12 to 24 months.
Great.
Yeah, it is. It's wonderful, and it's been documented to be highly successful. It has a return on investment of about 17 to 1.
Wow.
So for every buck we spend on a prevention program like Day One, we end up saving $17 in system costs, and that includes, for example, in the justice system, the court system, the mental health system, the social services system, because it's such an effective approach. And we also have a volunteer complement to that, and it's called the Exchange Parent Aid Program, which is a volunteer-based program that mimics Day One, but deals with families in less crisis than the Day One program does. So that's up and running. And then we have a third initiative, which is on-site services. We initially started out with the Lincoln Elementary School Clinic. We have since moved to Hillman and have a clinic there. We also have social work services at Ella White and Thunder Bay Junior High.
Wow.
And we are going to be expanding this fall to at least one, if not two more schools in Mount Morenci. We have services established in Alcona, and we're going to establish 2 service sites in Presque County as well, bringing social work services into the schools. So it eliminates 2 barriers, Nancy. The first being travel for families.
That's a major
because
issue.
Transportation for some families is hard to come by. And secondly, scheduling. How do we fit a behavioral health or a counseling session into our busy family schedule? Well, the schools are cooperating and allowing children to come out for a 30-minute session with a counselor and then to return to the classroom. What we found at Lincoln School, which was our pilot clinic, was that behavioral health issues in the classroom have gone down and academic performance of the kids that are being seen has gone up.
Wow.
So it's a proven approach. The last piece then is the Children's Advocacy Center. And Alcona Health Center was a pioneer in establishing interview facilities at their Alcona County Lincoln Clinic under the leadership of Jackie Fitzgerald. They again led the charge and helped us establish a formal Children's Advocacy Center.
Excuse me.
Having trouble with the term. But Children's Advocacy Centers are established throughout the United States. And there's an accreditation process which we're going through right now. And so we have our facility open, it's operating. We've been interviewing kids and providing support for children who are victims of abuse. We have victim advocates at our center. We have trained interviewers who do nothing but, at least at the CAC, nothing but interviewing these kids. So they develop a expertise, if you will. And we have the cooperation of the court system, of law enforcement, of the prosecutor's office.
Wow.
And it's just a wonderful effort to stop child abuse. And as I shared earlier, and I know I've been doing a monologue, I apologize.
No. And I keep saying wow, but it's because you were here before, but I'm just impressed. You started out, as you said, it took a while to get everything going because you were very methodical about it. You started slow, but you're out and you're running, and every time you come on, there's more and more wonderful things happening.
Well, it is very good. And I think one of the great things is the fact that we, during this month of child abuse prevention, which April is, we're able actually to be a living testament to not only the Kellogg Foundation's investment, but this community's, and when I say community, I mean the 4 counties, this community's ownership of a facility and an approach that says, A, we're not going to tolerate child abuse, and B, when it occurs, we're going to directly intervene and care for families. So it's just been a tremendous, tremendous asset to these children that are being affected by abuse. And as I said, it's a great testimony to this region's care for their children. And so
I know I've seen or heard something on the radio. You're still looking for more volunteers.
Yes.
The parent volunteers.
Yes.
So if you're a parent who's retired or have some extra time on your hands, or a grandparent, and you have those wonderful skills that we need to go work with children and families, teach them how to be safe and healthy and happy, why not give you a call? Come on in, get the training that you need, go out and mentor in your community. What a wonderful thing to do.
Yes, yeah, it is. And the Exchange Parent Aid Program, interestingly, I mean, we're all aware of different service clubs that operate in our community. I have to say, before I got into this project, I was least aware of what the Exchange Club stood for. The Exchange Club's mission is to prevent child abuse. That's what they do.
Wow.
Just like the Lions Club is focused on
Glasses and hearing.
glasses, yes, and Rotary, of course, is focused on youth, etc. Their focus, the Exchange Club, is child abuse prevention, and so they have a national model that they've established to create parenting programs on a community level. And so our Exchange Club connected us with their national office. We got training. We brought that training back here. We had 4 great people who attended that training, Julie Myers and Larry Swaski and a couple other folks. And they have been training volunteers. And so, but because the demand is so high for this parent mentor program that's called Exchange Parent Aid, we are constantly recruiting volunteers. So we do cyclical trainings.
Okay.
And so if someone is interested, can I encourage them to call?
Yes, please, give us a number.
340-0960, and they can speak with Shelley or myself,
Okay.
and we will get them tied into the Exchange Parent Aid program. If for no other reason, just to investigate it,
Okay.
better understand it. If you call me, you're not making a commitment. It's just telling me you want to learn more.
Okay. Unfortunately, we're out of time. I want to thank you very much for being here, and I'll look forward to talking to you again soon.
Can I just share one phone number?
Yep.
And that is 888-444-3911.
Okay.
And if you suspect child abuse,
Yes.
call 888-444-3911.
Thank you again.
Thank you.
Please stay tuned for Dr. Olin Jointon following these messages.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome back to Talk of the Town. I'm Olin Jointon, president of Alpena Community College, and my guest this morning, welcome back, Dean of Workforce Development, Don McMaster.
Thank you for having me, Olin. Appreciate it.
Good to have you. And actually, our topic today goes into one of your subtitles, I suppose, Director of the World Center for Concrete Technology on the campus of Alpena Community College. How does it feel to be the director of a worldwide operation? It must kind of go to your head occasionally, doesn't it?
Well, I try to keep that from happening, but it's a wonderful resource that the college has. A lot of people built it, a lot of commitment, and it recognizes a niche that the college has that's unique in the country, and that is concrete education.
Well, it truly is an amazing and wonderful asset to ACC. And there are a number of exciting developments going on this coming week at the center. And let's talk about some of them. I believe there are 2 or 3 of them you wanted to relate to the audience.
Yes, it is going to be a busy week there. One notable thing we're having is we're having a group come in for a blockmakers workshop, which is a week-long seminar. They're studying programmable controllers on Besser equipment. They're from Brooklyn, New York, and they're an interesting group, and their company actually is doing all the masonry work for the New World Trade Center.
Whoa.
So the training they're receiving is allowing them to be more efficient in their work, and that work translates into a national monument. So
let me get this straight. ACC trained craftsmen are using the skills they acquired in the World Center for Concrete Technology to rebuild the World Trade Center. What a great connection.
Yes.
How did you pull this off, Don?
Well, it wasn't me. It wasn't me. But we have 2 fine instructors, Eric Krebs, who is at Besser Company for years and has been a trainer in the Blockmaker series, does a wonderful job, very credible. And Jeff Oliver, who's still with Besser Company and is a fine trainer and a great serviceman. They've been doing these seminars for years, and they know there's credibility built up that it kind of goes underneath the radar, but people know when they come up for those workshops that they're going to get good training. And actually the supervisor of this group had gone through a Blockmaker series about 8 years ago.
No kidding.
Yes.
And he remembered the quality of the training?
Yes.
And directed his group of workers back to Alpena, Michigan. Isn't that wonderful?
It's neat.
So
it's
world
really
to
neat.
world, right? World Center to World Trade Center.
That's it.
That's really cool. Well,
Yeah.
congratulations on making that work, and we'd be remiss if we didn't also mention the great services of Barb Zizniak, who
Yeah.
takes the calls for these block maker programs and coordinates them, sets things up so well. They run so smoothly as a result of her efforts.
Absolutely. You and I both know Barb well. She organizes both our lives, and she does a wonderful job. She's great on details, but also great in dealing with the public, and it's a
Yes,
rare
indeed.
combination.
Yes, indeed. Well, what else is going on?
Well, we have about 70, due to do some good work by Kate Brusky, a colleague of mine and a kind of a co-manager of our National Science Foundation grant. We have about 70 area high schoolers coming in on Thursday of this week, and they are touring the WCCT. And then they will hear speakers on our NSF project related to concrete sustainability.
Let's stop for a minute. What is the National Science Foundation?
They're the grant-making agency on a federal level for research projects nationally. And
So a lot of their money goes to universities, research. A lot of it is conducted around the country because of federal government funding through the NSF. But here we are, again, Alpena Community College, World Center for Concrete Technology, the recipient of a $200,000 grant that you wrote for and acquired, and you're now administering.
yes,
What is the topic of that grant? What kind of research is being done?
we're researching the sequestration capacity of concrete masonry units. As they cure, they pull in CO2.
So this is good sequestration, not bad, right?
Yes, on the federal level, sequestration has more than one meaning. This is the good meaning. Yes.
So carbon dioxide can be sequestered or captured by concrete masonry units.
Correct.
Or that's the theory, or has it been proven?
No, it's true. One of the issues we're grappling with is how to do it economically.
Okay.
But yes, it is it's part of the science of curing that CO2 is pulled into a block.
So we have proof of concept, and now the next step is try to make it feasible.
Yes, we're trying to figure out how it can be done so people in the field can use it.
Scale it up and make it economical.
Yes, yes, we are. And the hope is, of course, concrete being the second most widely used commodity in the world.
Now, what does this have to do with these 70 students?
Well, part of our NSF grant is outreach to K-12.
Okay.
And as you know, more than anyone, a lot of our concrete tech students our flagship occupational program. Those students come from our region and our outlying school districts. So it makes sense to try and get them on campus to see what we have. A number of them have never seen it, and interact with the faculty and see what we have and see if it might fit their career goals.
So part of the federal grant is to make provision for educating youngsters coming up through the schools about what can be done about carbon issues and bring them to the World Center.
You bet.
And we'll be introducing the students to the advisory committee that oversees the grant work. So that'll
Yes.
be a great thing. Got about one more minute now for, I believe, another item that we discussed, the home builder course.
Yes, we've about 10 days ago, Bruce Frost, who an instructor in green building and sustainability, began offering seminars at the WCCT. The first one attracted about 24 folks, and it was very well received. Next week we'll have another that has 40 folks signed up for it. As we've talked before, Bruce is a nationally known, recognized instructor in this area, content, very knowledgeable, and an outstanding presenter.
And I believe this series is open to home builders, but also people who just want to fix up their own houses with caulking and insulation and energy-saving equipment and so on.
In our first, yes, that's true. And so it's open, it's free of charge. Contact Catherine Maharg at the WCCT if anyone's interested in attending. We are offering a third one mid-April.
Right.
But we attracted contractors, but also folks who work in the realty business.
Good. Well, sounds like some wonderful things going over there in the World Center for Concrete Technology. Thanks for your excellent leadership and for being my guest this morning.
Appreciate it. Thank you, Olin.
This has been Talk of the Town with Nancy Smitham and Dr. Olin Joynton. For a list of events taking place in Northeast Michigan, visit our website at wbkb11.com and click on Community. This has been a Thunder Bay Broadcasting Corporation production.